What if I told you the Dodgers championship parade wasn't the end of the story, but just the opening chapter of something much bigger? While fans were still celebrating in the streets, Andrew Friedman was already in a war room making moves that could change baseball forever. Stick around because what I'm about to reveal will shock even the most dedicated Dodgers fans. The champagne hasn't even dried yet in Los Angeles, but the front office is already deep into planning mode. This isn't just about keeping the momentum going. This is about building something that hasn't been seen in baseball for decades, a true dynasty that could dominate for the next 5 to 10 years. And the moves they're making right now, they're absolutely ruthless. Let me start with something that's been buzzing around the league offices and front office circles. John Heyman, the veteran baseball journalist, came out swinging after the World Series. He basically said the Dodgers bought their championship, that they're using unlimited financial resources to create an unfair advantage, stacking their roster with superstars while smaller market teams can barely compete. His words struck a nerve across baseball. Some agreed, saying the competitive balance is broken. Others defended LA, arguing that smart management matters more than pure spending power. But here's where it gets interesting. Dave Roberts didn't just brush off these comments. He fired back hard. In a press conference that got heated at times, Roberts made it crystal clear that the Dodgers' success isn't just about writing checks. He said teams with money are everywhere, but knowing how to build a complete organization from scouting to player development to clubhouse culture, that's what separates champions from pretenders. Roberts was almost offended by the suggestion that their success was bought rather than earned. He pointed to their farm system, their international scouting network, their analytical approach, and their ability to get players to perform beyond expectations. Then Roberts dropped a bomb that sent shockwaves through the baseball world. He announced that the Dodgers were actively pursuing 3 major free agents, not in a few weeks or months, right now, immediately. The organization wasn't going to rest on their World Series trophy. They were going all in to get even stronger. This wasn't just talk either. According to multiple sources, an emergency meeting happened just 48 hours after the championship parade. The entire front office was there. Andrew Friedman led the meeting, and both Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto were present and actively involved in the discussions. Think about that for a second. 2 of the biggest stars in baseball, fresh off a championship, sitting in on front office meetings about roster construction and free agent targets. This tells you everything about how the Dodgers operate differently than other organizations. They treat their star players as partners in the process, not just employees who show up and play. Ohtani and Yamamoto both have massive influence in the clubhouse, and their input on potential teammates carries real weight. The Japanese connection has become a massive advantage for Los Angeles. They can pitch free agents on a winning culture, a diverse environment, and teammates who understand the challenges of transitioning from international baseball to the major leagues. So who are these 3 targets that have the Dodgers so fired up? Friedman laid it out clearly in that emergency meeting. The first priority is a proven closer, someone who can handle high-leverage situations in October without flinching. Evan Phillips did solid work last season, but Friedman believes you can't rely on one arm to carry the weight of an entire postseason. The pressure is immense. One bad outing and your season is over. They need depth, experience, and someone who thrives when the stakes are highest. The name that keeps coming up in these discussions is a closer with a track record of dominance, someone who can come in during the 9th inning of a playoff game and shut the door without drama. The second target addresses the infield. Despite having talent across the diamond, Friedman identified a gap in the middle infield specifically. They need someone who brings elite defense and consistent offensive production. The name being whispered in baseball circles is Bo Bichette from the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, Bichette has dealt with some injury concerns recently, but when healthy, he's one of the most dynamic middle infielders in the game. He brings speed, power, defensive range, and a competitive fire that fits perfectly with the Dodgers culture. Friedman praised Bichette as someone who never gives up, who battles every at-bat, and who makes everyone around him better. The question is whether Toronto is willing to part with one of their franchise cornerstones, and if so, what the asking price would be. The third and perhaps most explosive target is an outfielder. Kyle Tucker's name has been mentioned repeatedly. Tucker is coming off another outstanding season with the Chicago Cubs, posting MVP caliber numbers year after year. We're talking about a guy who consistently hits 30-plus home runs, drives in over 100 runs, and maintains a batting average near 300. He's the complete package. Power, average, speed, defense, and clutch performance. Adding Tucker would give the Dodgers an outfield that might be the most talented in baseball history. Imagine a lineup with Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Kyle Tucker all hitting in sequence. Pitchers would have nightmares trying to navigate that gauntlet. But here's where things get even more interesting. During that emergency meeting, Friedman revealed that one of these three acquisitions was already essentially done. Edwin Diaz, the elite closer from the New York Mets, had opted out of his existing contract looking for a better deal. The Dodgers pounced immediately. According to sources, Friedman personally reached out to Diaz's representation and offered a 4-year deal worth $88 million. That's $22 million per year for one of the best closers in baseball. Now, some might ask why only 4 years instead of 5 or 6. Friedman explained his reasoning was about balance. 4 years gives them Diaz during his prime years while maintaining future roster flexibility. Plus, they built in performance incentives and a potential club option for a 5th year. This gives the Dodgers protection if injuries happen, while rewarding Diaz if he performs at an elite level. Diaz's response, reportedly, was enthusiastic. He said he watched the Dodgers all last season and was inspired by their approach, their winning mentality, and their championship culture. He wants to be part of something special. The paperwork is apparently being finalized as we speak, and an official announcement could come any day now. Adding Diaz immediately transforms the Dodgers bullpen. Suddenly, you've got multiple elite arms who can shut down opposing offenses late in games. This removes the pressure from younger relievers and gives Dave Roberts incredible flexibility in how he manages the final innings of close games. Now let's talk about the bigger picture here, because this isn't just about adding talent. This is about the Dodgers completely changing how championship teams are built in modern baseball. Traditionally, teams win a World Series, enjoy the moment, maybe make a few tweaks, and then run it back with essentially the same roster. The Dodgers are doing the opposite. They're treating their championship as a foundation to build something even more dominant. They're not satisfied with one title. They want 3, 4, maybe 5 championships in the next decade. They're thinking dynasty, not just success. What makes this approach possible is their financial flexibility combined with smart roster management. The deferred money in Ohtani's contract, for example, allows them to spread out the salary cap hit over many years. This creates space to add other stars without completely blowing past luxury tax thresholds. It's creative accounting at its finest, and smaller market teams absolutely hate it because they simply can't compete with that kind of financial engineering. But it's legal, it's smart, and it's working. The involvement of Ohtani and Yamamoto in these front office discussions also represents a cultural shift. Japanese players have historically been more reserved, less likely to involve themselves in organizational decisions beyond their own contracts. But both Ohtani and Yamamoto are taking active roles in recruiting, in providing feedback on potential teammates, and in shaping the team's direction. This is huge because their voices carry weight with international free agents, especially players coming from Japan or other Asian leagues. If Ohtani tells a player that Los Angeles is the right place to win and develop, that endorsement matters more than anything a general manager could say. The reaction around baseball has been mixed. Some executives are openly frustrated, saying the Dodgers are breaking the spirit of competitive balance. Others are impressed, arguing that every team has the same rules and the Dodgers are just better at exploiting them. Fans of other teams are conflicted. They respect the excellence but also resent the seemingly endless resources. Dodgers fans, of course, are absolutely loving this. After decades of playoff disappointments, they finally have an organization that's willing to be aggressive, to take risks, and to do whatever it takes to stay on top. There's also a human element to consider here. Players who just won a championship are often tempted to relax, to enjoy the offseason, to celebrate their achievement. But the Dodgers culture doesn't allow for complacency. From the front office to the coaching staff to the veteran players, everyone is already focused on next season. That mentality, that relentless drive to improve even after reaching the top, is what separates good organizations from legendary ones. It's the same mentality that drove dynasties like the Yankees in the late 90s or the Patriots in the NFL. So what happens next? The Dodgers will finalize the Diaz signing, continue pursuing Bichette and Tucker, and likely make additional moves we haven't even heard about yet. They'll probably release or trade several players to make room on the roster and under the luxury tax. Some fan favorites might be gone, which always causes controversy, but Friedman has shown he's willing to make tough decisions if they improve the team overall. This offseason is going to be wild, and the Dodgers are at the center of it all. They're not just trying to repeat as champions. They're trying to build something that changes baseball forever.